Hey 11 Betties viewers, I'm Cate, and today we are very lucky to sit down with DJ CAMS, also known as Scott Campbell, also known as my cooler brother.
All right.
Scott is a 3-time winner of Best in the Bay Area, and he was recently selected as one of 4 game changers in San Francisco by San Francisco Magazine. You are totally self-taught as a DJ. So can you talk to me a little bit about how you learned to spin records so well?
Sure. You know, music has always been my life. I played the cello from the time I was a kid, and every night I would record mixtapes off the radio as far back as elementary school. When I was in college, I bought a set of old turntables, and for a couple years really had no idea what I was doing, but would go out and see other DJs play and study and watch what they did, and you know, over time just got better and just practiced a lot. Yeah.
I mean, we used to ride to school together, and Scott would put in a mixtape and start quizzing me on who was playing what song. And I would always guess REM. So obviously DJing is a very complex and detailed process, but I'm hoping that for our viewers you can just break down a little bit the process of mixing songs together.
Sure, yeah, it's a great question. For me, on a very basic level, I think about songs as far as what their tempo is. And in the DJ culture, we talk about tempo as far as BPM, or beats per minute. So that means that each song, their tempo is assigned numerical beats per minute. And so whenever I hear a song playing out somewhere, or someone might mention a song to me, I'll initially think, oh yeah, that's a great song. You know, what's its tempo? What's the kind of number BPM I have behind it? So when I go out and DJ a party somewhere, you know, I think about, I can kind of group songs of similar tempos together, and it makes it a lot easier.
I love that, because really you're talking about a rate, beats per minute, how many beats happen in each minute, which is incredibly mathematical.
Yeah.
You and your beautiful wife, my gorgeous sister, are expecting a baby.
We are, yeah.
And recently over the holidays you shared what I thought was a pretty funny story about how beats per minute factored into a recent doctor's visit. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so, you know, as I kind of talked about, whenever I hear a song, I'll think of a numerical kind of beats per minute behind it. When you're a DJ, I think it's just kind of your curse where you think about, you know, numbers and beats per minute everywhere you go. We were actually in the doctor's office and had a heart rate or heart monitor hooked up to my wife's belly, and it was going about the you know, beat of our little person was going about 136, 137 beats per minute, and the first thing that popped in my head was, oh, it's about the same tempo as Michael Jackson Beat It or Beastie Boys Fight for Your Right to Party. So just kind of something you always think about.
Baby Campbell is destined to be so cool. It's time for a pop quiz. So I'm curious, I'm gonna throw out a few songs for you, and I wanna see if you know the beats per minute of each of those songs.
Sure, okay.
Okay, Jackson 5, I Want You Back.
It's about 100 beats per minute.
Very good. Britney Spears' Work.
It's a faster song, it's about 128 beats per minute.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake, Holy Grail.
It's a great song. It's a slower hip hop song, about 70, 73 beats per minute.
DJ CAMS just got an A+. How do you deal with tempo changes? Like if you want to mix 2 songs, or obviously all songs have different tempos, so how do you deal with that in the same mix?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, so for example, when I'm DJing out somewhere, maybe in a club or, you know, a private party, something like that, a lot of times you won't just stay at one tempo. You might go various tempos over the course of a night, and that's really cool because it allows you to kind of take, you know, the party goers on a journey. So, you know, say I want to get from around 100 beats per minute to about 128. I might do that over the course of, you know, gradually. So over the course of maybe 6 to 8 songs, where every song I kind of speed up just a little bit. Or there are some kind of tools, like a song that will allow me to do that very quickly, so over the course of one song. So
I love that. So if you graphed both of those options on a graph, they would look very different. One would have like a very gradual curve, and one would have a very kind of narrow curve.
And if you looked at the course of like the tempos that I would play over the course of a night, it might look something like a big sine wave, where it's actually higher and lower and based on faster and slower tempos.
You're so smart. How much do you sort of plan the journey you want your audience to take, and how much of it is sort of inspired from them?
Well, as a DJ, one of the most important things is to always read the crowd. And from the time you start DJing, any good DJ will tell you always read the crowd. And so I may go in saying I want to do really fast songs, I might want to do kind of all slower hip-hop songs over the course of a night, but if the crowd's not feeling it, you need to change it up. So if I'm at maybe a faster tempo and I see that people are getting tired or, kind of worn out, then I'll slow it down and kind of give them a chance to breathe. And then that allows me the chance to kind of build the tempo again and create excitement and energy in the party.
What about when you have to create a mix for a certain length of time? Mm-hmm. Something that Scott does is he creates a mix for a San Francisco radio station that's an hour?
Yeah, it's generally anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes, yeah.
So how do you figure out how many songs you can use and how long they all have to be and all that stuff?
Yeah, because sometimes, if you're tasked with doing like an hour-long mix, it may seem a little daunting. And a thing I found helpful is to kind of break down the hour-long mix into 4 quadrants, so like 4 15-minute segments. And I can kind of figure that each song or so will be around maybe 3 minutes long, so that'd be about maybe 5 songs for the 15-minute. So that would be over the course of 60 minutes, that would be, probably 20 songs on average. Some would be shorter or longer, but it's kind of a good way to kind of easily break it down.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I bet when you're listening to the radio on Friday night with your friends jamming out, you had no idea that the word quadrant factored into making that mix.
True.
It's pretty impressive how many mathematical terms have come up already in talking about DJing.
Yeah.
But I still want to ask you, how would you say that music is mathematical?
Well, we've talked about kind of, how each song has a tempo or kind of numerical beats per minute that it's assigned to it. On kind of a deeper level, and a lot of big house DJs will actually do this. They mix songs not only on the tempo, but also on the key the music is in. Wow. And there's some really cool software out there that I actually use a lot that assigns a numerical value on a scale of 1 through 12, with each number relating to the musical key the song's in. And it makes for just a really nice mix and kind of a smoother mix of songs together when you're mixing not only on tempo, but on musical keys. And it gets a little deeper, but some pretty cool stuff.
That's really cool stuff. Something that we're really about at 11 Betties is blending creativity and technicalities together.
Yeah.
So a question I have for you is how do you remain technically sound but still keep and maintain a sense of creativity and artistry in your work?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think on a very basic level, practicing, of course. You never stop practicing. There's been a lot said about the 10,000 hours to get really good in something, and I feel like I've definitely put in at least that much. But even the best DJs will say that they never stop practicing. You may have a great night DJing out somewhere, but I'll come home the next day and practice with turntables I have set up in my house. So on a technical level, for sure. On a creative level, I really think it's important to listen to not only what's on the iTunes Top 100, but also all different kinds of music. And I would always encourage people to go out and see live shows. Go to a rock show, go to a jazz club, and then I also love the intersection between music and then art and fashion. So if you go out to a museum and you see some really cool art pieces, how does that inspire you? If you go to a fashion show, what kind of music are they playing there, and what's the kind of mood you get from that? And so, just finding just creativity all over the place, really.
So really, it's all around us, it's everywhere.
Yeah, but it's often really kind of tough to see it. But when you stop and take a minute, yeah, you'll see a lot of cool creativity and inspiration.
How did you feel about math when you were in high school?
Math in high school can be pretty daunting, for sure. And a lot of times I found myself saying, when am I ever going to use this? And it has been pretty weird to see how, in the DJ world, how much I use math and how much numbers are in my head constantly. And it's something I didn't really expect in high school, yeah, for sure.
Did you ever think when you started your DJ career that you would be using so much math?
No, I didn't. I mean, I thought DJing was just kind of, and it is obviously, but about just, mixing records together and kind of the techniques behind that. But to really get better and to just, go way beyond that, I use math all the time, for sure. I use math all the time, for sure. I use math all the time, for sure.
We are really, really excited at 11 Betties that you are making us an exclusive mix. So talk to me about that a little bit, and what are you really excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm stoked to do this 11 Betties mix. For me, it's one of my favorite kind of mixes to do because it's so eclectic and it's so open format. We're not just going to be doing one kind of music, but we're taking music from different genres and different decades, really, and just blending it all together to make one fun party mix. And it's going to be awesome.
So So donate and get your hands on it.